No, but I want to talk about the Gospels.
What's your name?
Rachel.
Hey, Rachel.
They're not necessarily eyewitness accounts. They're written in the third person. And the reason why we have the names Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John is thanks to the Catholics putting those labels on there. So I guess I don't understand why you say they are accounts.
Why do I think they're eyewitness accounts?
Right.
Because they contain eyewitness data. Like, for example, the Gospel of John, there are 59 eyewitness details in that document called the Gospel of John that could only have been known by an eyewitness or somebody who knew an eyewitness. Okay,
is it possible that someone could have just been writing a story?
Well, then you'd have to discount all the other evidence that this is to be a story. It appears to be a historical account.
From the Bible, right? The Bible is writing about, like, Mark is the first gospel that was written. And
probably. Some think Matthew may have been written first. Most scholars say Mark was written first.
Okay, so we'll go with the general consensus, I guess. And then they say maybe Matthew and Luke used a lot of Mark. That's why there's a lot of coinciding events. And if you ever read the Gospels horizontally, where you compare each resurrection account, there seems to be a lot of contradictions, and it's not just an eyewitness.
What would those
problem.
contradictions?
Well, for example, I think in Mark, the ladies go to the tomb, and Jesus isn't there, and an angel tells them to go tell the people, but they don't. It just ends, and something else is added on about snakes. And then Matthew, he goes ballistic and says there's angels and earthquakes and everything at the resurrection. And they tell her to go tell them to go tell the disciples. And they do this time. Luke reins it in a little bit. And he says the stone was already rolled away. And the angel is sitting on the tomb. Or I don't have this exactly correct. But it's the gist. And then John, being the beloved disciple, made himself, or whoever wrote it, made himself get there first before Peter. And I don't know, there's just a lot of contradictions.
How are those contradictory? I don't see them contradictory. I see them complementary because they're written by different people telling their perspectives on it. How are they contradictory?
How did Luke miss the earthquakes and the angels? That seems like a big detail.
If he doesn't report an earthquake, that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
It doesn't mean it did.
No, but it's not a contradiction.
Well,
like, for example, if somebody came into this, some reporter came into this room tonight and said Frank Turek gave a presentation, that would be true. And if somebody else came into this room and said Frank Turek spoke and so did Dr. Ben Gates, that would be true as well. That would be complementary. That would not be contradictory.